Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with me as always is my co-host, Tate Mathews. Tate, basketball action's hot. It's unbelievable right now in District 11 AAA, but before we get into that, we do want to report on some sad news. Coach Jimmy Burchett, longtime girls soccer coach of Franklin High School, the Lady Rebels, has passed away.
Yep, sad news, and anybody who knows anything about Coach Jimmy Burchett, probably the most successful coaching career in all of soccer, especially girls soccer in TWSAA history, but the guys that knew him and the guys that coached against him, what they'll all tell you, as great of a coach as he was an even better guy. He cared about girls soccer as a whole, not just Franklin Lady Rebel soccer, but he cared about the entire sport. He cared about his girls and those teams that he played. And you want to talk about a coaching career now. 18 seasons as the head soccer coach, 309 victories. Now, to the baseball guys who don't understand what that means, the average soccer season is 14 regular season games a year, and he won 309 in 18 years, 4 gold balls as a head coach, 4 silver balls as a head coach. So his teams were, out of 18 years in the state championship game, 8 times. That's almost 50%. In 2011, they won the national championship with a 24-0 record, and I would think that's probably one of the first ones ever done here. That's a big deal. So, and you talk to the people that knew him, all those statistics, all those accomplishments are nice and great, but again, as great of a coach as he was an even better man.
Well, Tate, I not off the top of my head do I know when the TWSAA established soccer as a sanctioned sport, but I know that he was early on, and he pretty much set the foundation for Middle Tennessee as far as soccer goes.
Without a doubt, and everybody had to play catch up. I mean, he was light years away from everybody, and and then what was neat about it is he had his run from '99 to 2003. Obviously, there wasn't as many schools here as there are now. Then he had another run of 3 state tournament appearances a row again, and that was obviously we have more kids in Williamson County then, but obviously more schools. He just found a way to keep on changing, and they were always competitive. And even when they didn't make it, they were close.
Well, our deepest condolences go out to the Burchett family on behalf of the WCS Sports Conference. He is a legend and will always be at Franklin High School. Football news. Coach Richie Westman, Ravenwood High School, after 1 year going 6 and 7 steps down to take a job with the Roma Grizzlies in Rome, Italy.
Yep. Something that he's always wanted to do. Kind of hard to argue with a dream job, and he has the opportunity to go and live in Italy. Never been, would like to go. I would think it would be nice. So, hey, he did a good job with what he had a tough job this year. We talked about it, taking over after the 2-year run that they had, and once they figured it out, that team went on a run in the playoffs. So sad to see him go. Happy for him. I know he's excited. I know you're happy for him. Good thing is this: Ravenwood is very well, highly thought of in the coaching ranks. There'll be some good people that want to get in on this. But again, thanks to Coach Westman, and be exciting to see who replaces him.
Absolutely. We wish him the best of luck. Coach Westman does have some immediate family living over there. It wasn't just by chance that this job came open. He took a stab at it. But him and his wife did take a trip over there, fell in love with the area, which I think anybody would. I think even my wife would fall back in love with me if I took her to Italy. But it's one of those situations where immediate family's there. They kind of jokingly said they'd like to live there one day. This job came open, gave them an opportunity. It is a semi-professional team, the Roma Grizzlies. So we do wish Coach Richie Westman the best of luck. Coaching search is underway, effective immediately. There will be some quality applicants, like you said, to try to jump on the Raptors train, get this thing going back and in a good direction. Not that it was in a bad direction, but I think that this is a job that's very intriguing to a lot of people. Will left, takes the Knowlesville job. We've had the guy that replaced the guy now, and there's a little bit of a buffer time, and I think there's a lot of high-quality coaches that will come in with the intrigue of getting Ravenwood back to that top 6A level performance that they had.
Well, you look at the history of the school. It hadn't even been a school for 20 years yet. You've had 2 different head coaches that have a silver ball and a gold ball from teams that they coach. Coach Brian Rector, his teams 1 year with the runner-up, another year state champion, and then Coach Hester. So that's not by – obviously both those guys are great coaches, 2 of the best coaches around, but that's a good football job.
Speaking of 2 of the best coaches right now in region wrestling action, Coach Miller and Coach Grindstaff, region championship comes down to Summit. Indy, all WCS Sports Conference final. Both teams get their tickets punched to the state dual wrestling championships. What do we know about it?
Well, it came down to a 36-34 victory for Summit. Now, they forfeited the last two matches because of the way the points work. They would have had to pin out. Independence would have had to pin out to win. They had a major decision in the third to last match. No possible way that Independence could beat them. Summit forfeits it. So both of them are going to the state tournament. It was a great match. It's going to be very, very exciting. That's a heck of an accomplishment anytime. This is Summit's second time in 3 years. I did not realize this. Independence 7th trip in 10 years. That's very impressive to the state duel. So they're both going. Summit drew Knox Gibbs in the first round. I believe Independence drew Blackman. So.
Well, at least Summit didn't have to draw Cleveland, which is Coach
That's
Miller's
right.
dad, which they kind of fell in that
And
trap
they're
last year. So I'm very interested to see how this thing's going to play out. I think both these teams can make some serious noise in this thing, maybe even knock on the door.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Especially, well, Independence too, but especially Summit, And Summit got a really nice draw, Knox Gibbs. So they're obviously good or they wouldn't be there. But I think if you're looking at the draw at the beginning of this thing, that's someone they would want. Sawyer Knott, 170-pounder, we talked about him. He won the GP West Invitational, the Father Ryan Invitational, and Nathan Porter at 132. Both of them were selected to the 2017 AAA Dream Team. That's a big deal, very high honor, and it's because they've had great years. And then on the Independent side, this, like we said, 7th time in 10 years. Brady Ingram, he's ranked first at 138. He's got a chance to win a state championship come individual time. And then Isaiah DeMello played offensive line for Coach Blade. He's the number 3 ranked heavyweight in the state right now. Probably going to drop down to 220, but in this tournament he'll wrestle heavyweight. So both of them have guys that have a couple of guys who have a chance to be individual state champions. This is for the state duel, but it's going to be fun to watch.
So we'll keep you updated on that next week as the duels come and go, and then you got your individual tournament that's separate
Right.
apart from that. So we have several opportunities to win state championships on the wrestling side. Basketball, girls basketball, 11 AAA right now. That match, district is heating up. Obviously, we had a little bit of movement. Let's start with Brentwood. Brentwood 6-16, 1-7. Shocker, beats Summit 53-42 in a very big upset fashion. Nobody saw that coming. Brentwood gets on the board for their first district win against Summit. However, they turn around and lose to Ravenwood in the Battle of the Woods. But they have Indy and Centennial this week. Still some work left.
Yeah, Coach Six, he's been coaching a long time. He's probably never seen anything quite like this. We talked about it. They show flashes. And so I would think this week really kind of sums it up. You go and you beat Summit, who we think's got a chance to win this thing. You score 53 points, and then you turn around and get held to 15 points a few nights later against Ravenwood. That's kind of what he's talking about right there, is if we don't play a full game.
That youth and experience right now is being an Achilles heel for them. But don't sleep on the Lady Bruins yet. That's a team that's, as
well,
you
the
could
Summit
see,
victory shows
as you
it.
as you could show, if they happen to get matched up in a district tournament with you, that's going to be a game that's going to make everybody nervous. If you're playing against them. But Izzy Franco's playing really good for them right now.
The Truschel twins, they're freshmen, but they're good.
This
they're going to
team
be really good.
has got some serious promise in the future, if not before this year's up. So don't sleep on Lady Bruins. Lady Cougars of Centennial, 11-6, 6-2. Coach Hill's group beat Dixon, gave their first loss to Dixon, 35-34 in 2 years. Dixon has not lost in this district, and they've lost back-to-back games. Centennial gave them their first one, and then they won at Independence 52-31. They have GCA this week in Summit. Coach Hill is poised for the best record in Centennial history. Not only that, he's got a chance to possibly pull off the district championship.
That'd be unbelievable. That would be unbelievable. And big wins in the Dixon game. I think, you talk about giving your team confidence, a team that hasn't lost in 2 years in the district, like you said, and you've definitely never beat. And then you go out and beat them. It kind of validates everything they've been talking about. GCA and Summit this week. Summit's going to be tough, but 2 games they could win. They could be sitting here at 13-6 at the end of this week.
7-2 in the district, more importantly.
Very
Hey,
important.
we've got to get the tape out. Qualls, crystal ball. Vegas, Creed's going to get the tape out. I told y'all Dixon was going to get a loss.
Yes.
Not only did it get
Did
a
you call
loss,
Centennial?
not only did I didn't say who. Not only did it get a loss, they got 2 losses, and if I'm not mistaken, I said a couple losses are coming
right.
to them. So Qualls Crystal Ball. That's going to be a new segment for WCS.
Are you going to wear a genie hat?
Sports. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I like that. I think that'd be good.
Okay. Franklin right now, hottest team in 11 AAA. Franklin Lady Rebs, 15-6, 6-2. They did lose to Summit. That's the craziest thing that you see. Brentwood beat Summit. Summit turns around, plays Franklin, who's the hottest team right now. They beat Franklin 56-49, and then Franklin turned around and backs that loss up with a win over Dixon, 41-18. It's the worst loss that Dixon's had since 2008.
You sit there and you look at that, and that's amazing. Holding them under 20 points. They've had girls that have averaged over 20 points the past few years.
Well, the Beard girl probably averages 20 by herself.
Right. And they did a great job on her. That's a huge win, and something, I don't know, maybe they saw something in the Centennial tape and used it. I don't know, but that shows those top 5 teams, top 4 or 5 teams right there. What you're talking about. Franklin beats Dixon, but then Summit beats Franklin,
right?
And Brentwood beats Summit and Raven. So that just goes to show how tight it is.
Well, Coach Barnwell and his group. You've got King, you've got Holly Harris, you've got really good players there. They play great defense. I love to see the fact that Dixon's lost 2. Now it opens the door wide open for anybody to slide in there to try to get that win. I'm telling you right now, mark it down. Creed's going to mark this down. They're not done losing yet. Dixon's got one more loss coming to them before this thing's over. So Franklin still has some work left. This is a huge week for Franklin. They have a game at Summit, and then they host Ravenwood. That could drop them anywhere from 2nd to 5th or anywhere in between. This is going to be a huge week for everybody in 11 AAA. Independent 6-15, 1-8 right now in district play. Lost to Ravenwood 51-37 and lost to Centennial 52-31. They have Brentwood and at Summit. I believe that Indy gets himself in the win column there. Maybe one of these 2 games this week. And then it's going to all it's going to do is make the logjam even worse.
Yep, and going into the season, if they could get 2 district wins, I know she wants more, but I think you would have to be pretty happy with that. They're getting better, and this season goes to show. But they're still young. But yeah, anytime you can pick one off, that'd be great.
Ravenwood, Coach Mariska Harris, 12-9, 4-5 in district play, beat Indy 51-37 and Brentwood 36-15. Now they have at Dixon, at Franklin. Anytime you have Kiera Downey in the lineup, you can beat anybody. I'm going to call upset alert right now. Creed, mark it down. Ravenwood at Dixon. Mariska Harris at Dixon. That could be a tough one. Put that one on the upset alert. That could be a possibility.
Are you calling the upset?
Well, we might talk about that later. We're going to go down this list first. Then they have to go to Franklin for a tough matchup against Coach Barnwell and the Lady Rebs. Now, you beat Dixon at Dixon. This is a trap game. All of a sudden, the hangover after you win, you go into Franklin, you got to be poised because that thing right there between Franklin and between Ravenwood, that game is going to be absolutely crucial and huge to the seedings.
Yeah, that could come down to the very last night of the regular season. So they're all big right now. Well, you mentioned anytime you got Kiera Downey, you got a chance. I think she's done some great coaching jobs there. Since she's been there, this is probably the best she's ever done. We've talked about it, nine players on the roster. I think right now they're down to 8. Can't get in foul trouble when you got 8 players on the roster, right?
Well, Lady Spartans of Summit, 9-11, 4-3. I think we talked about this as well. I predicted Coach Carrie Goodwin would get their team back to 500. They're above 500 by 1 game in district play at 4-3. They did lose to Brentwood, as we mentioned earlier, beat Franklin. They have Franklin again. You play Franklin, you got to turn around and play Franklin again because of the snow makeup, and then you have a Centennial back-to-back game with Centennial in 7 or 8 days because of the maintenance issue at Centennial. So that's who they have left. They've got this week is Franklin and at Centennial. Neither one of those. I mean, these games, there's not a night off in 11 AAA.
No, Summit could really, really swing this thing with this week if they can beat both Franklin and Centennial. That would really give them a leg up. But it also, if they were to lose both, then that starts to separate it a little bit right there. Big week for Summit with those 2 games.
Okay, 11 AA Fairview, 3-18, 2-10, a loss to Camden and a tough one, 38-36. East Hickman, who is a really good basketball team, I've seen them play this year, 56-32, and a loss there. They're at Stewart and Waverly. They just got to kind of get themselves in there. They need to get themselves another win before this district tournament starts. It's a huge district, 11 teams.
Yep. And when you get to the tournament, just hopefully
Pardon-
pick one of them off.
Pardon me, 9 teams, but still it's a very large. Anything can happen. Probably going to get 2 byes in there for the 1 and 2, and then 3 through 9. Anybody could probably win. Get yourself in position to try to get a victory there. Page 13-8, 5-2 in district play. Beat Cascade 51-33. Hume Fogg 71-9. Not exactly sure what happened in that game. That is not a typo. But they play at Spring Hill, who only has 1 win, and then they play Franklin for a little mix-up there late in district schedule time to get themselves ready for district tournament.
I like that. I like that game for Coach Brock. You know, here he is. The Cascade, they're a good team. A team that they should have beat, obviously, in Hume Fogg, and in Spring Hill, you said 1 win.
What gives you that indication?
Well, I hate, you know, there's nothing. I've been in some little league basketball games like that. That's not fun.
It was 2-0 at one time. It was close at one time.
That's right. Yeah.
But
after the tip off, but that they need that. You know, that's I like that. That'll be some good stiff competition getting ready to go into the tournament. And hey, they can score some points. That'll be fun to watch.
Also in 12AA is Nolensville. Nolensville 7-12, 2-5 in district play. Lost to Franklin 53-34 and lost to Giles 61-43. Coach Ladd's group, young freshmen, sophomores to be having 7 wins right there. And as it sits in 12AA, Tate, Giles County in first place, 7-1. CPA also at 7-1. Page 5-2 in third place. Marshall County 3-5 in fourth. Nolensville sitting in fifth place, 2-5. If you just said Nolensville would have been in the middle of the pack at the first year in district, you'd have said you're crazy. Probably would have come in last. But right now they're sitting in fifth place. Cascade in 6, 2-6. Spring Hill 0-6. On the 11AA side, Fairview currently sitting in 8th place on the girls' side right now. And 11 AAA, Tate. Let's just look at the matchups. Dixon County still sitting in first, 7-2. Franklin 6-2. Centennial 6-2. Summit in 4, 4-3. Ravenwood 4-5. Indy 1-8. Brentwood right now 1-7. If it happened tonight, Dixon gets the bye. Franklin plays Brentwood, Centennial plays Indy, and Summit plays Ravenwood, all for right in the semis. Do or die game.
It's going to be a fun tournament to watch. Where is it?
It's going to be at Centennial, as well as the region tournament is held at Centennial this year. So we got both sides of the tournaments, which last year we had to travel to Cane Ridge. So that works in our favor. But right now, I'd hate to know that I'm sitting there having to play Kiera Downey or Z Esmond to go home.
Real quick, saw on Twitter this week, Z Esmond committed to Walter State.
Walter State,
right?
That is correct. So
they got a good one.
Congratulations to Z Esmond going to Walter State. They did get a good one under the radar. She will help them. It is a junior college, obviously. 2 years, I expect to see her going into a nice 4-year school. So congratulations to Z and the Lady Spartans. On the boys' side, okay. Going to have to put my pen down for a second. Been around basketball a long time. I've seen a lot of good games. I've seen a lot of action, but I've never seen in the last 2 weeks the basketball and the quality of basketball that's being played in the 11 AAA side, Tate.
It's best it's ever been played on the boys' side. In this district, we have some really, really quality teams, and, man, we've had some exciting games.
All right, let's look at real quick. The AAA AP poll, okay, that is everybody in AAA, Memphis to Knoxville, everybody in between. Right now, Summit is sitting in 5th place. But in the mid-state poll, we've had 3 teams in and out of those mid-state polls all year long. Right now, Summit number 2, Brentwood number 6. Ravenwood jumps back into the poll, skips number 10 into the 9th spot.
Well, after the win they had Friday night, they have to be. And if they can play like that every night, they are a top 10 in the mid-state team. So, 3 of them in there, I don't know that we've ever had that. It's been a long time if we have, and like we mentioned, you got the way Franklin's playing, and then Independence. With the firepower they've got on that team, they can get a win any night. So we have 5, 6 legitimate teams right now.
Man, I'm telling you, and this district tournament will be the best boys basketball you'll ever see. Well, I can't say ever, but I'm looking into Qualls' crystal ball. It'll be the best you've seen in a long time. So
yeah, definitely around here.
Make sure you come, get your ticket. Go to Centennial High School. We'll get you the schedule at a later time when we get closer. We still have a little bit of work left in this thing, and it could go either way. Right now, Brentwood 18-5, 5-3. Brentwood, Coach Shirley, have lost 2 in a row. Summit 63-61 in an unbelievable thriller. I'm going to talk about that game for just a moment. At one point in time in this game, Brentwood led the Spartans by 17 late in the third quarter. He has a possession, perfect possession, one of those possessions that just breaks your back, breaks your spirits, you're not going to win tonight type of 2 minutes, 5-out cuts, boom, boom, boom. No shots. They run it to perfection. Your defense, you catch them asleep at the buzzer, scores to go up. I believe it's 15, maybe even 17 points. They come back out the fourth quarter. Summit starts chipping away. 3-minute mark, they're down, I think 3:30 mark, they're down 15. They cut this thing to single digits at the 3-minute mark. 30 seconds later, it's now single digits, Tate. Ty Carter, 14 points in the fourth quarter alone. Hits a floater with 10 seconds to go. Brentwood inbounds the ball, tries to get a quick shot off. He turns to guard, Ty Carter that is, in the full court press, deflects the pass, goes to brother John Carter, who throws it ahead of Ty. He catches it, literally takes 3 dribbles, lays it up for their first lead of the game with 0.7 seconds left. 63-61. Summit escapes another narrow victory, loss. Now, last 4 games for Summit. 2 overtime games, 13 points decided 3 of the 4 games. Brentwood, in the 2 games they have played, have combined for 4 points between the two. So they have won by combined 4 points over both times over Brentwood. Now, Brentwood also in the Battle of the Woods, 65-63. I was going to wait to the Ravenwood section, but let's just talk about it. Are you kidding me? It was a dream television game. WCTV was there. Obviously, it gives us the play of the week. Elon Smallwood had more than one play of the week, but this particular play of the week won the game for him.
And that's the man of the hour.
Here we
right
go.
there. Elon Smallwood.
They're going to live and die with Elon Smallwood. Jack Thurman, he can run somebody out.
Smallwood pulls up, buries it. Elon Smallwood. So Smallwood with that pull-up jumper from about 8 feet gives his team the lead, 65-63.
They were going to live and die with Elon Smallwood.
They lived right there.
Now, what they didn't show was in the play of the week, before the end of regulation, 0.3 seconds left. We know that the rule is 0.3, you have to catch and tip. It has to be a tip. You cannot catch and physically shoot the ball in under 0.3 seconds. They roll the ball in at the end of regulation. The game is tied. Elon Smallwood picks it up literally 65 feet away, bombs it, nothing but net. They storm the court, place is crazy. As you know, the Battle of the Woods is probably the best attended game with 2 of the best student sections. They wave it off, rightfully so. I give TWSAA credit. That's the right call. Kids storm the court. They get a technical foul, which is in the rulings, that if they storm the court, they get a technical foul. So we start the second, or the overtime with 2 free throws.
Yeah, and they go and they hit 2 free throws. So now it's, I believe, 56-54, and they have a jump ball. So it's the start of overtime, jump ball, but Brentwood's up by 2. The shot that Elon hit, that was amazing. One motion all the way, and like you said, nothing but net. It was just a great game, and you talked about Summit. Ravenwood was down 11, 12 points with about 6 minutes left in the game. They go on a 14-3 run at the end of the game to tie that thing up and force it into overtime. So same kind of deal. They had to chip away at it, and at the very end, they get down there and tie it, had a chance to win the game. So I would think on the positive of Ravenwood, you got to be very, very happy about that. Then you get into overtime. Elon scores 8 of the 11 points scored by Ravenwood in 2 overtimes. And then that last one right there for the winner. What was neat, if you didn't watch it, Coach Whitlock, before that, he had burned off about the last 2 minutes of the clock. And they just held the ball. He called timeout with about 20, drew up that play to Elon. They had done that in the first period. Didn't work. Came back in the second period. They gave it to Elon, cleared everybody out. Great defense by Jack Thurman, great shot by Elon. That was a great, great game to watch.
Unbelievable. They still have some work left. They're at Brentwood, that is. They're at Indy, and then they host Centennial. Now, Centennial 5-14, 2-6, beat Dixon. Second time they've beaten Dixon, 54-36. Lost to Indy, 63-45. They host Summit and at Brentwood this week. They have they're getting themselves in the conversation right now. They're getting themselves out of last place. Dixon looks like right now, as it sits, Dixon could finish last, and that's an accomplishment for Centennial being so young. But don't sleep on the Cougars. That's not a game that you really want that matchup with. It's really, really nerve-wracking to have to play Centennial.
Well, they have nothing to lose. I mean, let's go out there. We're not expected to win. Let's go out there and give it everything we have.
Franklin, 13-7, 5-3, hottest shooting team right now. Reese Glover shooting lights out, but once again, they play Summit. Reese Glover hits a shot at the end of regulation on an old Valpo play with Bryce Drew. Homer Drew was the coach back in the NCAA. If you remember that.
I do.
Catch it in the middle of the floor, shuttle pass to the guy streaking. Reese Glover throws a little head fake with 4 seconds to go, buries a three, put it in overtime. Once again, another tester for Summit. Summit prevails, 74-68. All this action, all these best games they're getting for Summit is getting them prepared. Region tournament, sub-state, state tournament. I'm telling you right now, you've heard it here, Old Sparty has been battle-tested in the last 6 games. Forget the whole season. They've been getting it all season. The last 6 games have proven to me that this team has taken a step in the right direction of getting themselves prepared mentally, physically, to make this grind of a run that's fixing to come on top of them.
I agree, and they got 5. Their starting 5 really, really good. They got some 2 Mr. Basketball semifinalists, I would think they're up for it. But here's what I love about Franklin: they lose to Summit, they turn around and go beat Dixon. You mentioned the 3-pointers, 41 points by Reese Glover, 30 by Evan Sigler, and it's 8 for 8 3-pointers, 14. They didn't hit but 3 3-pointers against Dixon. They had 4 guys in double figures. They did it by crashing the boards, playing defense. They're growing as a team. They're finding different ways to win. Right now, I believe they're tied for second in this region. At the beginning of the year, if anybody had said that, nobody would have believed it. This team is playing really, really well.
Independence 12-10, 4-5, lost to Ravenwood, but they beat Centennial 63-45. Ravenwood, we already talked about. They have Dixon, or at Dixon this week. That's going to be a revenge game because they did slip up and get beat by Dixon last time, and then they play at Franklin. Summit, big week for Summit. They have 4 huge games this week. They have to play at Dixon. They have to go to Franklin. They've got Centennial in there. They got the border battle. Get this now. Border battle is coming up on Friday, and then they turn around at Summit, and then they have to turn around and go to Lipscomb to play BA. What a week it is for Sparty. I'm telling you right now, if they win all 4 games, Tate, number 1 to Mid-State.
Without a doubt. And
they will bump up to the polls in the All-State. Okay, so not trying to slight the other teams. We got 1 minute to go. Let's look at Mr. Basketball right now. Right now, we're going to make a push. John Carter in the conversation for Mr. Basketball, and deservingly so. DeMonte Dixon's name's also being thrown out there for Summit. But just look at the 11 AAA. Who's going to make the All-District? You ask yourself that question, look at it right here. Somebody's got to get off this team and not make it. Reese Glover, sophomore sharpshooter for Franklin. Sigler as well. Then you got Grayson Murphy, the Belmont commit at Indy. Trey Carlton, the super freshman right now at Centennial. Elon Smallwood, the go-to guy for Ravenwood. Ty Carter, John Carter, DeMonte Dixon.
Kellen King from Brentwood.
I can't even get them all in. Somebody's not going to make this team. Jaden Lewis. Great basketball, folks. Take my word for it right now. Go buy your tickets. We got Border Battle coming up on this Friday at Summit. Tickets online right now at GoFan. That's going to be an awesome game. Then hopefully we'll get to watch the game with BA. I hope to see the maturation process from the Hamilton Heights game to the BA game. It's going to be highly contested.
It's going to be fun. Don't forget Independence and Summit in the state duels. It's over at the Williamson County Ag Center right off Paytonsville. It's a fun atmosphere. Get out there and support those guys.
Shout out to the Patriots. The Pats right now 10-8. Looking good, getting poised for the district tournament. Fairview, Nolensville as well. Jarrett Jones as you will. Fairview's got the Yellow Jackets rolling. Hey, we'll see you next time on WCS Sports Connection.
If I say heads up, what does that mean to you? It means be aware, be alert. Be prepared to prevent something bad from happening, like a concussion. Most concussions are preventable if you make the effort. Wear a helmet when you bike, wear a seatbelt when you're in the car, and always be aware and be safe. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. You want to prevent a concussion? It's time to be heads up.